All right, we're going to do lesson 5.1, which is solving inequalities by using addition and subtraction, okay? We have been working on equations, okay, and so now we're actually going to be solving inequalities. Oh, there's a typo. That should be inequalities, okay? So on example 1 here, it says solve each inequality, then graph your solution on a number line, okay? So you're going to solve inequalities just like you're solving an equation, okay? So the first thing I'm going to do here is I am going to add the 14 to the other side, and that will cancel this out, and I'll have d is greater than or equal to -5. Now, when we're writing inequalities in a final form, we're going to write it with what's called set builder notation, okay? And that's where I'm going to have a set bracket because it's a set of numbers, d, line d, greater than or equal to -5. Okay? And what this means, if you were to actually say it just verbally, it says all values of d such that d is greater than or equal to -5. Okay? So verbally, that is what this is. That's what this means right here. Okay? So it's basically telling you, look, we've got lots of answers. As long as it's greater than -5, it's an answer. So if I'm going to look at this now, because it does ask us to put this on a number line, I'm going to go ahead and create my own number line, and I'm going to put the -5 in the middle, and I'm just going to put a number down on either side. So I'm going to do -4 off to the right and -6 off to the left. Now, since I have an equal sign, that's going to tell me that I'm going to have a closed circle. So I need to fill in the circle here, -5. And then whatever way this arrow is pointing is which way you're going to go on your number line. All right, so I'm going to fill this in. And I'm going to have -5. And I'm going to shade it in this direction. I'm even going to shade in the arrow just so we've got a good idea of what's going on here. So what that says is that every number bigger than -5 is a solution, okay? Now, it is important to note that when we have a closed circle, all right, and when I'm talking about closed circle, I'm talking about this guy right here. So when we color that in, it's going to be a closed circle. So we have closed circle. And what that closed circle means is it is part of the solution. Okay, so that -5 is actually going to be part of the answer. So closed circle is part of the solution. Okay, all right, let's go down now and look at another example. We're going to look at example 2 here. Okay, and we're still going to be solving for p. So to start with this, I'm going to subtract 8 for both sides. Those will cancel, so I'll have p is less than 10. Again, we're going to be doing set builder notation, so all values of p such that p is less than 10, and that will be my final answer. Now I'm going to go ahead and graph it on a number line. Again, I'm just going to put the 10 in the middle, and I'm going to just go either direction here. I got 11, 9, okay? Now, on this case, because there's no equal sign, okay, there's no equal sign down here, I'm going to have an open circle at 10, okay? And an open circle means it's not part of the solution, not part of the solution. Okay, so not part, very important there. Now, I'm still going to be looking back here to see which direction my arrow goes. Notice my variable's out front, which is a must when we're looking at the direction of the arrow. So my arrow is pointing off to the left here, so I'm going to go ahead and shade off to the left and fill in my arrow once again. Okay. All right, going to example 3 now. It says define a variable, write an inequality, and solve. And when I'm looking at this problem, it says 3 more than a number is less than twice the number. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do, define my variable. So I'm going to say that n equals a number okay? And I'm going to write my inequality. 3 more than a number, so that's 3 plus, which is n, is less than, okay? So I'm going to put my less than sign in there, twice the number, so 2n. Now, when I solve this, I'm going to go ahead and subtract n from both sides, so the n's will cancel. So I have 3 is less than 2 minus 1 is just n. Now, like I told you back on the last example here, the variable needs to be out front. So I'm actually going to just flip it over and rewrite it in the other direction. And when I flip it, not only do I flip the variable and the number, but I have to flip the inequality symbol as well. So n is greater than 3 is my final answer, and I'm going to go ahead and put that in set builder notation. All values of n such that n is greater than 3. So I have done all 3 steps. I have defined my variable, I've wrote an inequality, and I have given a final solution. Okay, last example here, number 4. Okay, it says Sarah has $65 to spend at the mall. She bought a t-shirt for $18 and a belt for $14. If she wants a pair of jeans, how much can she spend? So again, the first thing we're going to do is define a variable. And I'm going to go ahead and put C equals the cost of jeans. Let's try that again. Jeans. Okay, so now Sarah has a total of $65 to spend. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and put my total over on one side. And now when I'm thinking about my inequality, $65 is the most I can spend. And I don't know how you learned it in elementary school, but in elementary school we were always taught that the alligator mouth eats the bigger number. So there's no way that she can go over $65. Now, she can equal the 65, so I'm going to go ahead and put less than or equal to. Now, on the other side, I'm going to kind of look here, and she's going to spend $18 on the t-shirt, $14 for the belt, and then C dollars for the jeans. All right, so now we're going to go ahead and solve our inequality. I'm going to go ahead and combine like terms by putting the 18 and the 14 together. So I have 32 plus C is less than or equal to 65. I'm going to go ahead and subtract the 32 over to the other side and get C is less than or equal to 33. Now, since it is a real world problem, I do expect you to write a sentence explaining what this answer means. So our final answer would be something like, the jeans can cost no more than $33. Okay? And technically I should have probably put this in set builder notation. So I'll have all values of C such that C is less than or equal to $33. And that concludes the lesson for today.